All right, what's up, DJBooth? This is Brendan Varan, and these are first thoughts on Drake's brand new Views album. He is the definitive male superstar of our generation. He has managed to remain more relevant to popular culture than just about any other name in music, but he has always lacked a universally accepted classic album. And so the question leading into Views was, would this be Drake's career-defining, hands-down classic? Let's talk about the good first. Most of the album comes from who I like to call peak Drake. This is the emotional one that makes you think about your exes late at night. For any of you who thought that new phone Who Dis Drake had taken over, that's the one who hangs out with Future and has a beard and muscles and steals your girl. It turns out that emotional and heartbroken Drake is not only alive and well, but that this is his album for the most part. As always, Drake is also super relatable, even though he's hundreds of times more rich and famous than any of us. But the real highlight here is the production work, which is fucking superb. Longtime collaborator 40 is a genius. It remains layered and lush throughout, and is vibrant even in the most low-key of situations. Other names like Boy Wonder, Southside, 1985 turn in great work, as does relatively unknown producer Manish. And all of the guest spots are extremely solid on the album, from names like Future and Rihanna to OVO signees Party Next Door and Division. Also, Jeremiah pops up, and it's one of the highlights of the album. All right, next up, the bad. First off, it is simply too long. At 20 tracks and with so many low energy songs, it suffers from a few lulls and does get boring at times. Many of the tracks could have been shortened considerably and even left off entirely. Next up, Drake suffers from some truly god-awful struggle bars. A few examples being, I got green like Earth Day, or you toying with it, Happy Meal. Nah. Future had the best verse on the album. Pimp C might have had the second best verse on the album. And for someone who is also a rapper, that definitely says something about Drake. Lastly, he left Popcorn off of Controlla, which for anyone who heard the leaked version is extremely disappointed about. For the record, he also left Kanye and Jay-Z off of Pop Style, but that was more forgivable. All right, time to talk about the standout cuts from the album. These are the songs that you absolutely need to hear. Everyone at this point knows Hotline Bling, and you should already be familiar with One Dance, but in terms of new material that we haven't heard yet, you should start with Views, the album's title track. Think of it as Drake in 9 a.m. in Dallas mode over some very incredible production work. Next up is With You, which officially features Party Next Door, but also has some very welcome uncredited vocals from Jeremiah. And lastly, this is a very slow album, but if you are looking for the bangers, you're going to want to go to Hype, Still Here, and Grammys, though the latter, Drake is completely overshadowed by Future. Some final thoughts. I think it's interesting to note that this album has a very wintertime feeling. It dropped right before summer, and songs like Controlla and One Dance and Too Good are obviously primed for a huge amount of play this summer. But as a whole, Views is much better suited towards red wine and loneliness on a cold winter night in Toronto than it is for middle of the summer party. Views isn't going to win Drake any Best Rapper Alive titles. It also doesn't immediately feel like that career-defining classic album from him, but it does give you a lot of great songs. It just goes on for too long. It seems like between singing Drake and rapping Drake, and now we have Caribbean island Drake, he has so many fan bases he needs to appeal to, and while everyone won't be fully satisfied with Views, every Drake fan should have something that they really like to pull away from this album. I'm Brendan Varan, thank you for watching, subscribe to our YouTube channel below, and as always, keep it locked to DJBooth.